I meant to get this video done back in June, but since Solo is now available for home release, I think it's a good time to revisit the book The Art of Solo, a Star Wars story by Phil Szostak, and go through all the potential ideas, storylines, and concepts that were explored during the development of the movie. A pitched idea for the opening of the film was to start in space like every other Star Wars movie. We would then pull back until the nose of a Star Destroyer came into view, but then keep pulling back to see that it was segmented and under construction. I think that would have been a really fun idea, but Ron Howard decided to open the film on the ground. Since Han was longing to get to the stars, he wanted the audience to feel that longing too. Han's origins in the final film is fairly Dickensian, with Lady Proxima and her child criminals. Original plans for Corellia would have had even more nods towards the work of Charles Dickens, making the planet feel like 19th century London, overcast and full of industrial factory smoke. The Coronet City spaceport has relief paintings of the history of Corellian engineering on the walls. They're pretty much impossible to make out in the movie, but it's a really cool detail. Instead of joining the Empire, there were plans for Han to join a small resistance fleet, but he still would have crashed a ship, been put on trial, and be sent to be part of the Resistance Army. There he would meet and fight alongside Chewie. That ideal was explored even further by having Wookiees forced into military service for the Empire, complete with partial Stormtrooper armor. In this case, Han would still fight with Chewie, who would then save his life on the battlefield. Another origin story for the two friends was that Han would start out the movie working in Corellia's factories until he was imprisoned alongside Chewbacca for some reason by the Empire. It sounds like they would have then met Beckett and his crew on Corellia, where they would then steal a construction hauler and then fly to Vandor for the Convex heist. Other early story ideas had the Empire enslaving Chewbacca and other Wookiees on Kessel. Han would have saved Chewie and the Empire would have given chase into the Kessel Run. The AT-DT walker was made to look like something the Empire made but only used briefly until they came up with something better, and then they just started throwing those older models into lesser battles like Mimban. It took a year to settle on the design for Enfys Nest's helmet. All of the rejected helmets were then passed down to other members of the Cloud Rider gang. The poem written on her helmet reads, "Until we reach the last edge, the last opening, the last star, and can go no higher." Enfys Nest's weapon was meant to be a sort of electric-bladed chainsaw. The difference between lightsabers and weapons like this, or the Z6 Riot Baton, or the Praetorian Guard weapons are that the energy source is man-made, while lightsabers are powered by naturally occurring crystals and the Force. The Solo official guide speaks of the Cloud Rider gang's dropship, the Airy. Although we haven't seen any official images of it, there were concept designs made showing that it had pods that would open up to launch the swoop bikes from high altitudes. The idea that Kira could be a humanoid alien was tossed around. Some of the concept designs for her made appearances in the film as background characters like Margot on Dryden's yacht. Tanab, the site of Lando's famous maneuver mentioned in Return of the Jedi, was part of the story at some point during development. It was going to be Dryden's home base until it was changed into a mobile yacht. The garden-like designs for the yacht's interior were influenced by sketches meant for the environment of Tanab. Dryden Voss's character designs went through many iterations, including the idea that he could be a Lasat, like Zeb from Star Wars Rebels. It's been said that he resembled a mountain lion when Michael K. Williams was playing the character, probably similar to the guards we see in the final film. Speaking of Dryden, let's talk about his desk and Exar Kun. Notes in the book say the idea was that the stone base for the desk was plundered from the Sith temple of Exar Kun. That does not make the character canon because these are just design notes that were considered but never fully implemented. That said, I think it's telling that people at Lucasfilm still have those old Legends characters on their minds, and I think it's very possible Exar Kun could get a real mention or appearance in the future. On Vandor, outside Yipso Lodge, there's some artwork of Chewie yelling at a feral Ewok on a leash. I kinda wish that had made it into the movie just because it cracks me up. The droid fighting pit inside Yipso Lodge was initially an idea developed for Maz Kanata's castle in The Force Awakens. On Kessel, during the Coaxium heist, a giant mole-like creature with a drill attached to its head was designed as an added threat to Han and Chewie. As they pushed the hover sled through a tunnel, the creature would be alarmed by L3's droid revolution and would follow them, resulting in, quote, the slowest foot chase ever. Enfys Nest and the Cloud Riders originally played a part in the Kessel Run, using their dropship to chase and eventually attach themselves to the Falcon. Creature designer Jake Lunt based one of his sketches on a drawing his 7-year-old daughter gave him. That alien actually made it into the film as part of the Cloud Rider gang. There are so many more cool details included in the Art of series books. If you've never read them and you enjoy hearing about how films make it from just ideas and concepts to a final product, they are great reads. I'll link to the Art of Solo, a Star Wars story in the description if you're interested in it. You should also follow Phil on Twitter because he shares concept art and behind the scenes facts like these all the time, so I'll link to him in the description as well. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.